everyone, and welcome back to the show.
Hey there, we're so happy you're joining us today.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mike.
On this podcast, we help you improve your English with natural conversations about everyday life. Today, we're diving into the topic of study habits. How do you study? When's the best time for you? What helps you learn effectively?
It's a really helpful topic, especially for anyone learning English or tackling a new subject.
Before we get started, please remember to follow our podcast and give us a like. It really helps other learners find our community.
All right, let's jump right in. So, Sarah, I've got to ask you something.
Sure, what's up?
I shot you a message around 10 p.m. last night, but I never heard back. Were you already asleep?
No, not at all. I was actually studying.
At 10 o'clock at night? Seriously?
Yep, that's my prime time for studying. I'm a total night owl. My brain just seems to switch on late at night.
Wow, we are complete opposites. I can't study at night. Once 8 p.m. hits, my brain is done. All I want to do is watch TV or read something light.
See, everyone's different. I think that's the most important rule of studying. You have to know what works for you.
That is so true. So, you're a night owl.
A night owl, exactly. What about you? When do you prefer to study?
I am an early bird, without a doubt. I love to study first thing, maybe around 7 or 8 in the morning. I'll wake up, have my breakfast, and then get in an hour or two of studying before I start my workday.
Before work?
Yes, that's when my mind is fresh and I can focus the best. Plus, the house is so quiet.
I respect that, but I could never do it. In the mornings, I'm basically a zombie.
A zombie, that's hilarious. So you never study in the morning?
Almost never. Maybe on a weekend if I'm really behind, but on weekdays, no chance. I study after dinner, usually from about 9 p.m. to 11 p.m.
2 hours, that's a solid session. Do you study every night?
Not every single night. I aim for 4 or 5 times a week. I always take Fridays off. Friday is my night to relax.
That makes perfect sense. Everyone needs a break. I study almost every day, but I only do it for an hour. I think being consistent is more important than studying for long hours.
I completely agree. It's much better to study a little bit each day than to cram for 6 hours on one day and then do nothing for a week.
Exactly. So let's talk about where we study. Where's your usual spot, Mike?
I have a desk in my bedroom. That's where I do most of my studying.
Is it an organized desk?
Not really. I've got books piled up, papers, pens, my laptop. It's a bit of a mess.
Does the mess distract you?
Sometimes, if it gets too chaotic, I find it hard to focus. So about once a week, I'll do a big cleanup and organize everything.
That's a good system. A clear space helps you think clearly. What about you, Sarah? Where do you study?
I like to switch up my locations. Sometimes I'm at home at my kitchen table, other times I'll go to a cafe, and sometimes I'll head to the library.
The library? That's interesting. What do you like about it?
It's quiet, and everyone else there is also studying or reading. It creates a motivating atmosphere. When I see other people working hard, it inspires me to work hard too.
That's a great point. But do the other people ever distract you?
Not really. I usually find a quiet corner and put my headphones on.
Ah, music. Do you listen to music while you study?
Sometimes, but never music with lyrics. I usually listen to instrumental music or nature sounds.
Nature sounds? Like what?
Things like rainfall, ocean waves, or forest sounds. It helps me relax and concentrate.
Interesting. I listen to music too, but my go-to is usually jazz or classical music, something calm.
Jazz is nice. Do you ever study in complete silence?
Rarely. I find I need a little bit of background noise. Total silence makes me feel a bit unsettled. What about you?
I can go either way. At the library, I like the silence. At home, I prefer a little bit of music.
So we've covered the when and where. Now let's get into the how, what you actually do when you're studying.
Good question. It really depends on the subject. If I'm learning new vocabulary, I'm a big fan of flashcards.
Physical flashcards or digital ones on an app?
Both. I use an app on my phone, but I also enjoy making my own paper flashcards. The act of writing things down helps me remember them.
I'm the exact same way. Writing is so powerful for memory. When I learn new English words, I write them in a notebook with the definition and an example sentence.
That's a fantastic method. Do you go back and review your notebook?
Yes, every Sunday I review all the new words from the week. I'll read them over and try to recall the meanings without looking.
That's a technique called active recall. It's incredibly effective for studying.
Active recall, I like that term. What other techniques do you use?
I write summaries. If I read a long article or a book chapter, I'll write a short summary of it in my own words.
Why do you do that?
Because it forces me to check my understanding. If I can explain something simply, it proves that I really get it.
That's brilliant. I should try that. I usually just highlight the important parts when I read.
Highlighting is good, but it's easy to highlight too much.
You're so right. Sometimes I look back and I've highlighted almost every sentence, which isn't helpful at all.
Exactly. You should only highlight the main, most crucial ideas.
Good advice. Another thing I do, especially for language learning, is practice out loud.
Oh, me too. When I'm learning new phrases, I'll repeat them out loud several times.
And I even record myself on my phone sometimes. Then I'll listen back.
That's brave. I really don't like the sound of my own voice.
Nobody does, but it's so useful. You can actually hear your pronunciation mistakes.
That's true. Okay, let's tackle a tough topic. Distractions. What distracts you the most when you study?
Oh man, my phone. It's the biggest enemy of my focus.
Same here. The phone is just designed to distract you. I get messages, notifications, and the urge to check social media. It's terrible.
So what's your strategy? How do you fight it?
I put my phone in a different room, far away from me.
Really? You can do that?
I have to. If my phone is next to me, I know I'll pick it up, so I'll leave it in the kitchen and go study in my bedroom.
That's a powerful strategy. I'm not that strong. I keep my phone with me, but I turn off all the notifications. I put it on Do Not Disturb mode.
Does that work for you?
Mostly, but sometimes I still grab it. I tell myself, just for a minute, and then suddenly 20 minutes have disappeared.
I know that feeling all too well. That's why I have to remove the temptation completely.
Maybe I should try your method. What about other distractions like the TV or family?
I live by myself, so family isn't an issue. But the TV, yes, I have to have it off. Even as background noise, it pulls my attention away.
I live with my sister and she can be a bit noisy, watching TV or talking on the phone.
That's tough. What do you do?
I just communicate with her. I'll say, hey, I'm studying for the next hour. Could you please keep it down? She usually understands.
Communication is key.
Yes, and if it's just too noisy at home, that's when I escape to the library or a cafe.
Good solution. All right, let's talk about breaks. Do you take breaks while you study?
Always. I can't study for 2 hours straight. My brain needs a rest.
How often do you take a break?
Usually after about 25 or 30 minutes. I'll study for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break.
Ah, the Pomodoro technique.
Yes, you know it?
Of course. It's very popular. I use it sometimes too. It really works. Those short breaks help reset your brain.
What do you do during your break?
I make sure to stand up and stretch. I might walk around my apartment for a minute, get a glass of water, or a small snack.
Do you look at your phone during your breaks?
I try my best not to, because if I start scrolling on my phone, that 5-minute break can easily turn into 15 minutes.
Same problem here. I try to use my breaks for physical movement. I'll do a few exercises or just look out the window.
Looking out the window is great for resting your eyes.
Exactly. After the break, I feel refreshed and ready to focus again.
So, in a 2-hour study session, how many breaks do you take?
Probably 3 or 4. I'll study for 25 minutes, break for 5, study for 25, and so on. It creates a nice rhythm.
Okay, what about study materials? When you're studying English, what do you use?
I use a variety of things. I have some textbooks, I watch a lot of videos online, and I listen to podcasts, like this one.
Podcasts are fantastic for learning. You can listen while you're doing other things.
True, but when I'm really studying a podcast, I give it my full attention. I'll listen carefully and take notes.
Taking notes is so important. What else do you use?
I use a few apps on my phone. There are so many great language learning apps out there.
Which ones do you like?
I like the apps that give you a short daily lesson. Every day I can practice for just 10 or 15 minutes. It's a great way to build a habit. What about you?
I'm a book person. I love books. I have grammar books, vocabulary books, and books for reading practice.
Do you prefer physical books or ebooks?
Physical books for sure. I love the feeling of holding a real book, and I like being able to write notes in the margins.
I get that, but ebooks are so convenient. You can carry a whole library on one little device.
That's true. For travel, ebooks are definitely better, but when I'm at home, I prefer paper.
Fair enough. Do you ever study with other people?
Sometimes, I'm in a study group with two of my friends. We meet up about once a week.
What do you do in your study group?
We practice speaking English together. We'll pick a topic and have a discussion. We also help correct each other's mistakes.
That sounds really helpful.
It is. And honestly, it's more fun than studying alone. We'll grab a coffee and chat so it doesn't feel like hard work.
I usually study alone. I find I'm more focused when I'm by myself.
I understand that. Some people prefer studying solo and some prefer groups. Both have their benefits. In a group, you can learn from others. When you're alone, you can go at your own pace.
Exactly. There's no single right or wrong way. You have to find what works best for you.
Speaking of what works, let's go over some of the useful vocabulary we've been using in our chat.
Oh, great idea. Let's help our listeners lock in these important words. Okay, first up, focus. We've said this one a lot.
To focus means to concentrate or give all your attention to something. When you study, you need to focus on your lesson. For example, I can't focus when my phone is in the room.
Good example. Or, I focus much better in the morning. Perfect. Next word, distraction.
A distraction is anything that pulls your attention away from what you're trying to do. Common distractions are phones, TV, or noise. For example, social media is my biggest distraction when I'm trying to study.
Good one. Okay, how about consistent or consistency?
Consistent means doing something regularly and steadily over time. If you are consistent with your studies, you study regularly, not just once in a while. For example, Sarah is very consistent. She studies every morning. And consistency is the noun. Consistency is key to learning a language.
Exactly. Next word, technique. This is a specific method or way of doing something. We talked about study techniques. For example, using flashcards is a great study technique, or the Pomodoro technique is a method for time management.
Great examples. Another important word is review. To review means to look at something again to remember it better. For example, I review my vocabulary notes every weekend, or I always review my notes before a test.
Very useful. How about memorize? To memorize something is to learn it so well that you can remember it perfectly. You commit it to memory. For example, I need to memorize these verb conjugations for my exam.
Perfect. Let's do one more. Improve. To improve means to get better at something or to make progress. For example, if you practice every day, your English will improve. Or, I want to improve my listening skills.
All right, Sarah, we've covered so many different parts of studying today.
We really have. Let's do a quick recap. We started with when to study and how I'm a night owl and you're an early bird.
Then we talked about where to study, my messy desk versus your various spots like cafes and the library.
We also covered how we study, talking about techniques like flashcards, writing summaries, and practicing out loud.
Then we tackled the big problem of distractions, especially our phones.
And we talked about the importance of taking breaks, study materials, and the difference between studying alone and in a group.
Wow, we covered a lot. And now it's time for our favorite part.
The question of the day.
Today's question is, what is your biggest challenge when you study?
Ooh, that's a good one. We want to know what the hardest part is for you. Maybe your challenge is staying focused. Maybe it's finding the time to study. For me, like I said, my biggest challenge is staying away from my phone.
For me, my biggest challenge is studying a topic that I find boring. It's so hard to stay focused when you're not interested.
That's a real struggle. So, listeners, what about you? Is your challenge finding a quiet place? Is it remembering what you learned? Or maybe it's feeling tired or losing motivation?
Whatever your challenge is, we want to hear about it. Please share your answer in the comments or send us a message. You can write something simple like, "My biggest challenge is staying focused," or "My biggest challenge is finding enough time."
Any answer is great. We love hearing from you, and it's excellent practice for your English writing. Plus, other listeners might have the same challenge and can share advice. We're all in this together.
All right, let's wrap up. We had a great conversation about study habits today.
I have a little desk in the corner of my bedroom that's my designated study zone. I try to do most of my studying there to keep the habit strong.
Is it an organized, tidy desk?
I wish, not really. It tends to get buried under stacks of books, loose papers, pens, and my laptop. It's a bit of a controlled chaos.
Does the mess ever distract you or make you feel stressed?
Sometimes, yes. When it gets too chaotic, I find it hard to focus. It's like the clutter on my desk creates clutter in my mind. So, about once a week, I have to do a major cleanup and organize everything just to reset.
That's a good system. A clear space helps you think clearly. What about you, Sarah? Where's your study spot?
I'm actually a bit of a nomad when it comes to studying. I like to switch up my locations. Sometimes I'm at home at my kitchen table, other times I'll pack a bag and go to a local cafe, and sometimes I'll head to the public library.
The library. That's interesting. What do you like about studying there?
It's the atmosphere. It's so quiet and scholarly. Everyone else there is also focused on studying or reading, and that creates a powerful, motivating energy. When I see other people working hard, it inspires me to stay on task.
That's a great point. The power of a shared environment. But do the other people moving around ever distract you?
Not really. I'm good at creating my own little bubble. I usually find a quiet corner, face the wall, and put my headphones on.
Ah, headphones. That brings us to music. Do you listen to music while you study?
Sometimes, but it has to be the right kind. Never music with lyrics in English because I just end up listening to the words. I usually opt for instrumental music, like film scores or classical, or even just nature sounds.
Nature sounds. Like what, specifically?
Things like gentle rainfall, ocean waves, or forest sounds with birds chirping. There are tons of long videos on YouTube. It's calming and it helps me block out other distracting noises without being distracting itself.
That's very specific. I listen to music too, but my go-to is usually instrumental jazz or lo-fi hip-hop beats. Just something calm and steady in the background.
Jazz is nice. Do you ever study in complete silence?
Rarely. I find that I need a little bit of background noise. Total, absolute silence makes me feel a bit unsettled, and I become aware of every tiny sound. What about you?
I can go either way. At the library, the quiet is part of the experience. At home or in a cafe, I definitely prefer a little bit of music to create that study bubble. Remember, the most important thing is to find what works for you. Everyone is different. Experiment with different times, places, and techniques until you find your perfect rhythm.
And be consistent. A little bit of study every day goes a long way. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. We really appreciate you spending your time with us.
If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a rating or a review. It helps other English learners find our show. And don't forget to follow us so you never miss an episode.
From both of us, keep studying, keep practicing, and keep improving.
Have a wonderful day, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.